You may be familiar with Adam22, a controversial podcaster turned adult star, but you probably don't know as much about the backstory of his wife and business partner, Mrs. Lena Nersessian, aka Lena the Plug, who is most known for her controversial collaboration with fellow adult star Jason Love. Following sleeping with a man other than her husband, the internet started calling Adam a cuckold en masse. However, what the online community didn't expect was the recent married man to lean into the jokes and embrace the name-calling. You see, while most mainstream outlets and YouTubers gave a shallow look at the debacle, it does nothing to explain how the couple got to this point. After digging into the situation, I realized I needed to learn more about Lena. Most people believe Adam is a puppet master behind these stunts, but in actuality his wife is equally responsible for the couple's infamy. From her strict upbringing, plastic surgery, realizing she wasn't a lesbian at the end of college, having Adam sleep with her best friend to try to keep him in a relationship, releasing her first sex tape, drug-fueled threesomes, and creating the wildly successful podcast Plug Talk, Lena has had quite the journey. In recent times, there have been ample reports of the couple getting a divorce due to their controversial dynamic, as well as the many accusations against Adam. However, in my 100 hours of research, I've discovered that the media is often incomplete in their coverage. Today, I will share my findings of the most powerful couple in the adult entertainment industry. But before we go any further in today's video, I'd just like to give a shout out to my sponsor, Morgan & Morgan, America's largest personal injury law firm. I'm sure everyone has seen the headlines of a person being hit by a car and receiving a multi-million-dollar settlement due to the negligence on the driver's part. But what you might not think about are the teams behind the wronged that fight to get them the compensation they deserve, such as Morgan & Morgan. Sure, there are plenty of law firms out there that will advertise this service, but many don't have the teams needed to take on multi-million-dollar cases. And even to find out, you'll have to call them, leave a message, hope they call you back, and set up a consultation in the future. The great thing about Morgan & Morgan is you can submit your case through their website without talking to anyone, with you receiving a prompt response from a professional that can help you no matter how big the case if you become their client. This has led them to winning clients sums in the tens of millions, such as $12 million in Florida, 34 times the highest insurance offer, and $26 million in Philadelphia, 40 times the highest insurance offer. And the best part is their lawyers are absolutely free unless they win you money. You can start your claim now with Morgan & Morgan at www.forthepeople.com/tgfm, found in the description or by scanning the QR code on the screen from your phone's camera. So if you ever get seriously injured, you can reach out to Morgan & Morgan today. Lena Nersessian was born on June 1st, 1991 in Glendale, California, followed by her sister a year later. Both of her parents had come to the US from the small Asian country of Armenia, whose biggest export of note is the Kardashians. Initially, Lena grew up in a very conservative household and wasn't allowed to watch certain TV shows.
I always give the example of Boy Meets World because I just have like a million memories of watching that show, but I was always like, okay, Corey and Topanga, please don't kiss in this episode. Please, please. Because if my dad sees that they kiss, then I'm going to be in trouble and like I'm not going to be allowed to watch TV anymore.
These strict values began to alter when her parents divorced in 2004, while she was in 7th grade. Once her father, who works as an electrician, no longer lived with them, Lena and her sister had less rules. Her mother worked full-time as a banker, which resulted in the sisters staying with their grandmother. During this time, Lena claims to have had a typical childhood but struggled with body image issues. Making this insecurity worse, starting at the age of 8, the family wanted the young girl to get a nose job.
From the time I was 8, my family was like, you're going to get a nose job. For 8 years until I got my nose job, me knowing like, okay, I have a bad nose. I have to change my nose. I didn't like that.
Despite her family's push for pricey cosmetic procedures, Lena claims that she didn't grow up with a lot of money. Her parents often relied on the help from an uncle, where she would end up getting her first job as a receptionist. When she started high school in 2005, the teenager decided to get involved in student government and attended nearly every event her school offered.
My mom had to threaten me that like, you're not gonna be able to go to school tomorrow if I didn't listen to her. Like that was her threat to me. That was a threat? Because I feel like I just liked escaping. I like leaving the house, like going to school.
Even though her grades were good and she appeared on the surface as a thriving student, Lena was struggling internally. Her issues with her self-image continued to worsen, preventing her from joining the cheerleading squad. This stemmed from boys in her class teasing her for not being skinny enough and having too much body hair. When she was 16, Lena finally got the nose job, paid for by her family. With renewed confidence, she developed a crush on a drummer in her grade, and would end up losing her virginity to him before breaking up and immediately getting into another relationship. This didn't last either, and Lena decided to explore hookup culture.
Body count leaving high school. Honestly, I stopped keeping track of this and writing this stuff down.
Was it under 10?
When I left high school?
Yeah.
I honestly don't remember. Maybe.
Yeah,
No, it wasn't under 10.
When it came time to prepare for college in 2009, everyone in Lena's family was extremely excited, since she would be the first in their household to pursue higher education. The young woman was accepted into the University of California, Santa Cruz.
But it's not like a party school. Like, people are like smoking weed. We had like 420 festivals. Everyone's just, chilling on Friday nights, getting high, having a little hangout kind of thing.
There she became best friends with her roommates, with the two of them becoming inseparable. Eventually, one night they got drunk and decided to kiss each other. Initially, Lena didn't think anything of it because she had kissed girls before in high school. However, this makeout session resulted in a 4-year-long relationship. This is when Lena, as she puts it, fully embraced radical feminism.
I feel like that's a controversial statement because Lena in 2012, who didn't shave her armpits, would have been like, there's no such thing as PMS. And, maybe there isn't.
The young woman enjoyed her college experience and having a girlfriend, but all of this began to change her senior year.
But the reason that I couldn't be with her going forward is because I was truly more attracted to men. And honestly, if she had a maybe we would have still been together.
At the tail end of college, Lena's spouse proposed to her at a concert, and not wanting to make a scene, Lena said yes before breaking up in private. Graduating in 2013, she was single, had a degree in psychology, as well as a massive amount of debt. Her family expected her to go on to grad school, but she began questioning if this was the right choice. Still, the young woman decided to apply to a graduate program while working at a grocery store. This job wouldn't last long as she injured her wrist and received a $6,000 check for compensation. Now, many would have told her to pay off her college debt with this money, but Lena decided instead to get plastic surgery.
You look at my ass and you don't really think BBL right away because it's just not that crazy big.
I do because you told me.
He didn't believe me when I told him. I remember the moment I admitted it to you. You're like, no.
Following her butt recovery, she got a job as a nanny working with kids who had autism and driving Uber at night. Lena was disappointed that having a college degree still resulted in her being paid the same, since a bachelor's in psychology didn't improve her job prospects. This made her question traditional ways of making a living, just as she got accepted into USC for grad school. Everyone in Lena's family was thrilled at her accomplishments, yet she knew this wasn't what she wanted. Telling her family she was taking a gap year, she continued to nanny but soon grew tired of the job. Lena craved talking to people of her own age, and working with children wasn't fulfilling. This is when in 2014, Lena became friends with a group who ran a social media company called Arsenic. The young woman was interested in this business and started to work there for free until she proved to be useful. From there, they hired Lena, letting her live at a house the company operated out of, where she did outreach, getting Instagram models to come to their location to shoot content. This is also where she got her name, Lena the Plug, due to her competence of fixing problems. Working at this company, she began to learn how to grow her own Instagram and realized that many of the models weren't any prettier than her. Figuring why not, in 2015 she posted a revealing picture of her butt and was happy to see her followers drastically increase. She continued posting lewd content while working at the social media company. While living there, she met Emily Renato, and they became roommates. It was at this point that the girls found out about the private Snapchat business. This is when women get their followers to give them money in exchange for fleeting explicit videos and pictures, limiting the risk of the content from spreading elsewhere. At first, the girls were hesitant about the idea, and continued to just post sexy photos on their Instagram. However, Lena was growing tired of her job and felt like the company was doing things poorly. With this running through her mind, Lena considered the idea of making a living independently. This is when her job asked her to reach out to podcasters. At this time, the only podcast Lena had heard of was run by a gentleman named Adam22.
We met because she swam up in my DMs and told me that she was in love with me.
I met because that job I was working for asked me to do outreach to radio and podcasts, and I only knew about one podcast.
Adam Grandmason is best known for his podcast, No Jumper, where he interviews rappers, gang members, and other controversial figures. He grew up in the upper middle-class suburbs of New Hampshire, but in middle school his father was arrested for voter fraud. Allegedly, the family had ties to the Rockefellers, and in 2000, Adam's dad was personally pardoned by Bill Clinton on his way out of office, although the damage to Adam's upbringing had already stuck.
My dad, on the other hand, kind of a dick.
You're so much like your dad, though.
In adulthood, he started his online business talking about BMX, but quickly transitioned to his current shtick when the views began to roll in. This is around the time Lena reached out to Adam. Even over text, they had a connection, and the man asked her out for an interesting first date.
He invited me to a podcast where he was being interviewed by somebody else so that I got to watch him in his glory.
Later in the day, Lena became comfortable enough with him to bring up her idea of starting a private Snapchat. Adam encouraged it, but didn't pay much attention to the idea, feeling that she could create a YouTube account with him managing it. The night ended up with the two of them hooking up, where they discovered they had amazing physical chemistry as well.
I'm 22, coolest podcast in the world, and I'm sitting on a bitch. What's up?
You're not a bitch.
Yeah, that.
Lena continued to see him, believing the then 32-year-old had his life together and was mature. It didn't take long for the 25-year-old to realize this was far from the truth.
He lived in a shithole.
Yeah.
He had piles of laundry on his floor. I was totally wrong.
I lived in a dirty-ass BMX flop house with a bunch of 21-year-old little BMX boys.
A few weeks after meeting Adam, Lena quit her job and left the company house to pursue being an influencer with a private Snapchat. Surprisingly, after just a month of posting, she made $30,000. When she told Adam, he was in shock and disappointed that he hadn't requested to manage her lewd content. Being able to support herself independently was great, but there was a problem. She didn't have a place to live. Trying to figure out her living situation, she moved in with her father, whom she had always gone along with. This fell apart shortly after, though, when he found her racy Instagram page and demanded that she quit being on social media instantly. At this point, Lena was already fixated by the idea and refused to do what her father asked, backing her things up and moving out. Her friend Emily did not have a place to go either, and the two girls lived out of their car, bouncing around motels until they found a place to stay. It was at this time that Lena began to experiment with more drugs. While in high school, she had been terrified of mind-altering substances, but the young woman's opinion had changed.
The last day that we were in Santa Cruz, we decided to take acid together, but it was a lot of fun.
Additionally, she continued to see Adam22, who was constantly around copious amounts of narcotics, and the two of them partied heavily.
We would just go out to the club and drink and do coke.
We were doing Molly and having fun.
I had taken Adderall that day, and this was way late in the day, so I was coming down off the Adderall, and I felt really weird. Does lean one time.
Without the support of her family, who had begun to distance themselves, Lena relied on her friend Emily. These women shared everything with each other, but what Lena asked next of Emily crossed a line. In January of 2017, Adam and Lana were dating, but their relationship was still casual.
Especially in the very beginning, I was a booty call. He was not treating me like I was somebody to love.
I feel like it's how most relationships kind of start.
Especially here, yeah.
Lena was enamored by Adam like no one else she ever met, but there was one problem. The man had a desire to sleep with other women constantly, and she understood it would be extremely difficult to get commitment out of him. Anxious about the situation, she talked to Emily, bizarrely asking her to sleep with Adam to keep him satisfied. At first, Emily was horrified at the thought, but it actually wasn't that crazy considering previous shenanigans the two had been up to. Once in the past, after only a week of knowing each other, Emily asked Lena to come over to the house of an A-list rapper, with them having a threesome. Because of this, Emily agreed to do the threesome with Adam. And around this same time, the podcaster had encouraged Lena to start making more YouTube videos, but the Instagram model struggled to get views. Seeing their sexual escapades as the way to get attention, she got Emily to agree to film a video titled, "I Let My Best Friend Have Sex with My Boyfriend."
I've been seeing Adam for a few months, and we are both sexually pretty open to having other girls join. It's kind of weird and controversial to have your best friend join, but I trust Emily, and this would just be kind of fun.
Of course, Adam had to film his own version of the events, also receiving millions of impressions.
It happened. It just happened.
While at first this seemed like a great idea, Lena became jealous when Emily enjoyed having sex with Adam a little too much.
She acted like she didn't want to have the threesome and then was like hogging all the time and wanting to go double rounds. So that's why I was just like, okay, bitch. And she was more drunk than me, so I was kind of like annoyed of her because she was just super drunk.
With this threesome behind them, Lena and Emily returned to having a more normal friendship, but what happened put a bad taste in Lena's mouth. Though the now YouTuber couldn't fixate on this dynamic too much, as she gained 22 million views on the controversial video. With this, Lena and Adam began brainstorming other ways to get attention using their willingness to tread in the sexual taboo. During this viral success, her desire to get Adam to commit to her further failed as they continued to just hook up. Later that year, Adam asked Lena to come party with him at an emo night. The two agreed, enjoying an alcohol and drug-filled bender that led to them having a new sexual experience. This would be something that Adam would refuse to talk about publicly until 2023.
You just mentioned it on the podcast, so now I can talk about it. That we had a threesome early in our relationship with another guy.
This further kept Adam from committing to Lena because he saw this sexual experience as something he would only do with a meaningless hookup.
And at that time, to be totally honest, you were pretty much a random girl to me.
Making matters worse for the possibility of a long-term relationship, in March of 2017, Mr. 22 decided to join rapper Lil Pump on tour. As you can imagine, during this era, mumble rappers were notorious for having available young women everywhere, leading Adam to hook up with groupies following every show. This tour would prove a horrific choice for Adam, but we'll get to that point later on. While the podcaster was on the road, Lena continued to make vlog content as well as posting on her private Snapchat. One day she was browsing YouTube and saw a video about a girl willing to release a sex tape if she hit 1 million followers. This seemed like a genius idea to the Instagram model, and she got Adam to agree to releasing an explicit video on the hub, provided that her and Adam hit 1 million followers.
You may or may not have heard that I'm planning on making a sex tape when I hit 1 million subscribers.
Thinking little of it, the next day, Lena's video had gone viral, with the mainstream media companies picking up the story. With this, her views and followers began to skyrocket. Lena was taken aback by the internet's response, as the woman who had originally come up with the idea had not received a fraction of this attention. While this was a great career move for the woman, it had disastrous personal consequences in the short run.
I remember on Yahoo, it was like the front page news, and that's how my family found out.
If Lena had thought her parents were disappointed for posting lewd photos on Instagram, she had no idea how upset they would be when they learned the full truth of her behavior. While Lena previously had a bit of a relationship with her mother, this now changed, resulting in both of her parents shunning the young woman.
What are your parents' thoughts about you showing your body on the internet? They do not understand it, they do not accept it, and they do not like it. And I understand.
It was also around this time that Lena became open with her eating disorder, having dealt with it most of her life. The stressful family situation, as well as always needing to be in perfect shape for her job, led the woman to develop dangerous habits.
My biggest goal at the moment is to go through recovery with my eating disorder. My eating disorder stuff has been in the way of me getting so much more out of my life for so long that once I can get that out of the way, then I can make space for all these other really great things.
Eventually, her mother came around to the situation and did her best to support Lena even if she didn't agree with her lifestyle.
She can achieve anything she puts her mind to, and I know for a fact, after all what she does now, she's going to go back to school, become a lawyer or a psychologist.
Further, Lena's mother was extremely candid when talking about Adam 22, and it's clear the relationship did not have her blessing.
I think he's a nice guy, he's a hard worker. I think he'll make Lena happy. Lena is definitely in love with him.
Nice guy,
he's
hard
not
worker.
sure about his dedication and love to her.
After all this strife, Miss Plug finally reached 1 million subscribers and now had to deliver on her promise. The only problem was Adam decided he didn't want to go through with releasing the tape because it wasn't brand safe. However, Adam was okay with having sex with Lena in front of their friend Tana Mojo. The YouTube personality had become a staple in both Lena and Adam's vlogs. They would often joke about having a threesome, but this never materialized as Tana didn't want to sleep with her friends.
Banging in front of you and your whole team a little bit, yeah.
Actually, I'm excited. I feel like, we've been dating for a year.
It was only right that we have sex with Tana Mongoose.
I'd also like to point out that in this clip, Lena and Adam claimed that they had been dating for a year. In 2016, it's very apparent that Adam was not loyal to Lena and their relationship was very casual on his end. As the situationship marched on into 2018, Lena started to make the transition from private Snapchat to a new little website called OnlyFans. While building up her audience on the new platform, Lena decided to undergo a second boob job, feeling insecure about the placement of her breasts. While Lena was recovering from this, Adam began to grow restless. While in the past he slept with other women, by 2018 they had been seeing each other for 2 years, and Lena was under the impression that they were exclusive. You see, besides sleeping with Emily, the couple engaged in various threesomes, something Adam wanted and Lena found to be fun.
He was always trying to scheme on like what kind of threesome he could have. Early on in our texting, I guess, he would like text a girl and tell the girl like, oh, Lena really wants to f you. And then he would text me and tell me, oh, this girl really wants to f you.
Through all of this, Lena continued to stick around the podcaster, attempting to find ways to make herself useful to him.
She just like actually let me kind of walk all over her for a while until I figured out that like, oh, like she actually really cares about me.
Despite these perks Adam enjoyed with Lena, he was notorious for cheating on almost every partner he had in the past.
But a lot of people have like a cheating fetish. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like
I feel like you do.
Yeah, cheating I've done in the past. Was I a little bit turned on by the fact that I was doing something underhanded?
On a Friday night in 2018, Adam was slipping back to his old ways. Lena was out shopping when she texted Adam to hang out. He responded claiming to be out with his guy friends, but the truth was he wanted to hook up with another girl behind her back. At this point, Adam was hitting a career high as he collabed with Atlantic Records and started producing music that had millions of listens right out of the gate. This resulted in women flocking to the now up-and-coming rap star at an alarming rate. After Adam got drunk this night in question, he became conflicted about cheating and messaged Lena to come to the store to hang out with him and this mystery girl. Lena came not knowing what was actually going on, but she quickly saw through Adam's lies.
Well, the thing was that you lied to me about how you met her. So you told me you met her on the street at the store that day because you owned the store and you had, customers would come in every day. But I saw your phone and you'd been texting with her, like nude photos.
Instead of apologizing for this, Adam had a very different reaction.
It was definitely like the time that we came the closest to breaking up from my perspective, and you were definitely like crying, pissed off at me, and I was still kind of like maybe this is too much. Maybe I just need to keep being single.
Eventually he decided not to hook up with this girl, but Lena was distraught from the entire encounter, though chose to stay with him anyway. Years later, Adam still seems unapologetic about the situation.
Do you feel like you just like didn't want to let yourself have something good, or like what do you think it was?
I mean, it's just hard to turn down all this right?
In the end, it was likely one of Adam's smartest moves to not cheat on Lena, as only a few months later a post would be released, claiming that the No Jumper podcaster was a predator, with him needing Lena's support more than ever before. This all started in March of 2018, with a Twitter user named Connor Tripler. His account along with his posts are now deleted, but at the time he shared a story about a woman who claimed to have been sexually assaulted by Adam22. After this initial post, Adam responded saying, "Anyone who ever called me a rapist is straight up 100% lying, and I'll defend that forever." However, this wouldn't stop the allegations of assault from continuing to roll in, with one woman claiming he threw her down a flight of stairs, and another alleged to have been choked out by him. Soon the mainstream media picked up the story and interviewed another 2 women who previously dated the podcaster and both accused him of assault as well. The first one they interviewed wanted to go by the pseudonym Jane. She initially accused Adam of sexually assaulting her in 2005. According to her story, the 2 spoke online before she visited him in New York. As she recounts, later that day, Adam took the young woman back to his apartment where they began to hook up, but suddenly Jane changed her mind, telling him she wasn't into it. Instead of being understanding, Adam lost his temper, intimidating the young woman. She ended up having sex, but felt violated and pressured into the act. After the alleged attack, instead of going to the police, Jane confided in a friend who messaged Adam about the situation. In response to this, Adam posted in a public message board calling Jane a liar. Then in 2009, he wrote a blog detailing his experience. She was letting me touch her all over and was making out with me the whole time, but she didn't seem like she was really enjoying it all that much. The second woman interviewed went by the name Dee. She claimed that in 2006, Adam was messaging her while she was underage, stating that nothing sexually happened until she was a legal adult, and this is when Adam visited her. Allegedly, during this visit, Mr. 22 pinned the young woman down. Just like the other woman, Dee never went to the police, and soon their relationship ended. Later on, Adam wrote about her online. In this blog, Adam admits to wanting to sleep with the young woman and engaging in a sexually charged phone conversation, arguing that it technically would be okay to sleep with her since the legal age of consent in Canada is 16.
I did say the age of consent should be 12.
As he put it, she's 18 or 19 in most of the pics here, but she didn't look much different at all then. After all of this came to light, Adam responded to Dee's accusations, outright denying any wrongdoing. He took to Twitter against his lawyer's advice, showing emails showing him and Dee. In them, Dee makes no mention of the assault and finishes an email telling Adam to visit her if he is ever back in Canada. While he responded outright to this woman, it doesn't appear he ever addressed any of the other claims specifically. He would later do an interview only talking about Dee, maintaining his innocence.
Because it's such a gray area, because there's nothing that's going to happen that could prove what actually happened in some bedroom like 12 years ago, 11 years ago.
All of these accusations seem to have happened nearly a decade in the past, until a one-armed model named Lauren Duck accused Adam of giving her blackout drugs, and filming her in an intimate setting without her consent in December of 2018. Adam put up a YouTube video responding to Lauren's accusations, but this time he was joined by Lena, who was with both of them the entire night in question. The couple claims that they invited Lauren and her friend to come back to the No Jumper podcast.
It's a big part of being a white person is at some point in your life deleting your old tweets that show that you were a bad person.
This was Lena's second time being a co-interviewer, and she was very nervous, so she turned down Lauren when she offered her cocaine. Lena claims that the podcast guest proceeded to snort cocaine on her own and willingly joined the couple to party after the interview. Later that night, the group decided to film themselves having cocaine and alcohol-fueled sex. The couple ended their video calling Lauren a cocaine addict and alcoholic. Adam would also respond to the armless model's accusations on Twitter, stating, "You were drunk, you told me. You also spent all the money from your GoFundMe to buy a bionic arm on cocaine and designer handbags. This girl also told people that I gave her a bunch of Xanax the night she hooked up with me, and Lena. Fortunately, Lena was there and knows it's a 100% lie. Be careful who you believe. I held all this shit in for months, but f*** it, let's expose these hoes." Adam believed his email evidence between him and Dee, his interview addressing the claims, along with his YouTube video with Lena would help him be exonerated. Unfortunately, this would not be the case. Following all this drama, Atlantic Records did not want to renew their contract with No Jumper, presumably due to the incidents. And from what I could tell, none of these women ever went to the police with their allegations. While this video was supposed to be primarily about Lena, I couldn't help but go in depth with these accusations, because quite honestly, every other YouTuber that has covered it has butchered its retelling. They often bolster up some of the more dubious claims while forgetting to add some of the allegations that didn't involve sexual wrongdoing. Most importantly though, most didn't seem to connect that Lena remaining by Adam's side in this dark time strengthened the couple's bond like never before.
Once she realized that one of these girls was lying about an actual situation that she was there for.
That was the nail in the coffin. If I had any doubts about you, girls lie too.
Here she is referencing the incident with Lauren, and it's clear that after going through this experience with Adam, Lena believed that the other stories were fake as well. Defending him proved to be the ultimate bonding moment for the couple, as he was now willing to fully commit to a relationship for the first time in his life. Adam proved this to her by showing his girlfriend a text message he received from a woman named Selena Powell. Miss Powell is an internet personality who has become famous for sleeping with a lot of rappers and then exposing them on social media. I'll probably make a video about her at another point, but all that needs to be known here is that she messaged Adam to hook up.
The text that you saw that you were pissed off about, she was like, your girlfriend's like, it's not serious, right? Like, who cares? Blah, blah, blah.
This level of disrespect enraged Lena, and she ended up FaceTiming the would-be homewrecker. Though even with this, Selena didn't take no for an answer. Continuing to antagonize Lena, she asked Adam if she could, quote, suck the tip, and then posted about him being her man. After the incident, Adam and Lena sat down and did an entire podcast about the Selena situation.
She sent me very threatening messages and then blocked me.
And then blocked you.
But
she said she wanted to beat the shit out of you.
Despite the previous allegations setting him back, this new feud proved beneficial for Adam's viewership. And a year later, he brought Miss Powell onto the No Jumper podcast, and then later on an early episode of Plug Talk, but Lena refused to allow any physical contact. As of more recently, however, the two women seem to have put their differences aside for viewership, as 5 years after this incident, Lena finally gave Adam her approval to sleep with Selena while she watched. This public drama would be the most recent for Lena, as she rarely claps back against other women in the space, finding it more profitable to befriend them instead. This feud between the girls did nothing to lessen the negative attention on Adam, though. In 2019, pressure on the podcaster was mounting, and fearing being cancelled further, he decided to finally agree to put out the sex tape the couple had promised. Lena and Adam's relationship was strangely stronger than ever, and with the money from the tape, they ended up buying a house together. When they posted the 30-minute X-rated video on the hub, they were thrilled with the positive attention.
it is now available on a site that there's no way I can link here. But if you do go to my Twitter, twitter.com/LenaThePlug, the link for the official tape is there.
The tape was received well, and Lena experienced an uptick on her OnlyFans page. Now that Adam and Lena lived together, they were able to film explicit acts more regularly, even filming outrageous drug-fueled threesomes. However, by the end of 2019, Adam and Lena started to grow weary of the non-stop partying and drug use.
And then in 2019, we instead of going out for Halloween, we decided to take his nephews trick-or-treating. And we were like, what the fuck are we doing? We're already acting like we're parents. Mm-hmm. We're not having fun. So let's just have a kid already.
While trying to get pregnant, Lena fully switched over to OnlyFans, posting all of her content there since the site became extremely profitable. She also began taking online classes about childhood development at UCLA for fun. With all of this going on, she managed to make time to go on Kian and JC's Reality House YouTube series where they made 10 people compete for $50,000. Lena ended up winning the cash prize. Following this payout, she started to collaborate with adult stars such as Emily Willis and Lana Rhoades, as well as YouTube personality Trisha Paytas. Miss Plug would invite the girls to come hang out with her and ask them questions while telling her viewers to head over to her OF to see more. This would start a cycle that they would begin to replicate en masse. You see, Adam and Lena had been talking about a new kind of podcast. They came up with an idea that would combine Adam's skills interviewing people with Lena's extensive network of sex workers. The idea was simple. Adam and Lena would interview a guest together and then sleep with them after, posting the explicit second half on OnlyFans and the interview on YouTube. They called the show Plug Talk. Lena went all out for the show, buying an entire house as a filming location and decorating each room with a specific set. They then hired an entire crew of people, making this a large-scale production. But before they could make this dream a reality, Lena found out she was pregnant in April of 2020, just as COVID hit, shutting the adult industry down for a period of time. Even though COVID did shut down the X-rated industry, the ban was lifted relatively quickly once COVID tests became available. Adam and Lena now had a tough choice to make. Should Lena shoot adult videos while being pregnant? It was quite the predicament, and the two considered delaying filming for Plug Talk until after Lena had the baby. But the soon-to-be mother decided it would be a better idea to shoot as much as she could before the birth. She then wouldn't release this content until after she had the baby in order to keep making money while she recovered. Many felt that Lena shooting pregnant was disturbing to say the least, but their numbers hardly went down. In fact, they experienced an increased viewership to Lena's OF before the first episode came out.
I mean, those were my record months for sure.
Okay.
Like, I was not gonna stop working. Yeah.
So it was just, I'm pregnant, but we're killing it with money. And then there are people who are probably extra freaky, want to see the pregnancy stuff.
In the meantime, they decided to film with YouTuber Trisha Paytas again. Lena already had a good relationship with the controversial figure, as she had filmed with her twice before, but never with Adam. Many were shocked that the couple would be sleeping with this woman, since viewers felt that Trisha wasn't Adam's type. But as I combed back through Lena's vlogs, I discovered that Adam had always wanted to collaborate.
Yo, Trisha Paytas just liked my tweet, and honestly, can I fangirl about that?
Let's go.
This ended up being a massive success, as many paid to gawk at this material. As Lena's due date approached, she continued to make short vlogs about her pregnancy and eventually announced the gender of their baby to their friends over a Zoom call. Attending this COVID-era event were people including Riley Reid, Lana Rhoades, and Mike Malak.
All the stars are here!
Finally, in November, the time finally came for the adult content creator to give birth, but it was not under the circumstances she hoped for. Lena went to the hospital only to learn that she needed to be induced for an emergency C-section.
Out of nowhere, like 10 people rush into the room where I'm being checked in and triage. Out of nowhere. No one tells me what's going on. They just start working. I guess there's like a panic button in that room.
Though her daughter's birth was anything but smooth, Lena and Adam were ecstatic to welcome their baby girl, Parker, on November 14th, 2021. Despite the dramatic labor, the couple took home the healthy baby and Lena focused on recovering. This ended up being a very long road for the new mom.
The way that my C-section scar was tugging in pain from me stretching my body like that is not worth it. Like it's like a big surgery and you almost never feel the same afterwards.
The birth of their child had a lifestyle impact on the couple more than they expected.
I made him a
Fucking
little
random
softer.
girls. Yeah.
And then our baby made him a lot softer.
Oh my
So now I get a soft version of him and it's cool.
Beyond this, Adam found that he genuinely loved being a parent and wanted to do what was best for his child, even going to therapy to manage his anger. That being said, he hasn't completely changed his drug ways. Beyond weed, Adam occasionally takes part in some other recreational substances.
But I used to do coke, and I used to, pop Zans and drink lean and all that fun stuff. But for sure, at 39, I don't think I got it in me. Somebody slid me a Norco the other day. It had me feeling real good.
What is that?
Oh, I didn't tell you.
What's a Norco?
It's like a painkiller.
Following Parker's arrival, Lena began to post more frequently on YouTube, showing the inside scoop on the family's dynamic. This confused the general public even more, as their lifestyle didn't seem any different than a typical couple with a new baby. That being said, the parents continued to keep putting out adult content. The first pre-recorded Plug Talk episode aired on November 22nd, 2021, just 8 days after the birth of their daughter. Their first guest was the infamous Adriana Chechik. Immediately, the show was a success, with Adam and Lena raking in millions of dollars from the venture. Despite the mom taking only 3 months off to spend time with the baby, Adam continued on with his career in podcasting, leaving Lena to take on a majority of the parenting.
I like to outsource everything.
What do you mean you do the math? What did I just hear right now?
I do the man stuff and the woman stuff. I am in charge of the entire household.
Clip it.
When Lena returned to work, she found switching between mom life and adult content difficult at the start.
Really
I'm
smart.
just pretty normal, and I feel like sometimes, especially now that I'm a mom, I need to really break out of that and listen to some ratchet ass music to go and do my job, because it's like I'm fighting these two different. They couldn't be more different.
She had begun switching up her content, posting vlogs about being a mom and starting a new Instagram called Lena the Mom. The new mother enjoyed sharing special moments of Parker's life with her audience, even if it wasn't as profitable as Plug Talk. The new mom had become content with never receiving a wedding ring from Adam despite being together for 6 years and now having a child. But Adam finally decided that he wanted to make an honest woman out of Lena the Plug and planned a special 29th birthday surprise. He took the adult actress to a romantic getaway in Malibu for the purpose of proposing. I think after all these years, Adam realized that he would never find a better life partner than Lena. She had stood by him through assault claims, loved doing threesomes, and took on most of the responsibility of taking care of their daughter.
During the whole pregnancy, I was thinking, I got to propose sooner or later, right? Like, this is just seems like if we're going to live together for, you know, at least the next couple of decades and we're going to like have children and shit, it seems like we should probably get married, right?
With this exciting new life event, Lena began planning an extravagant wedding. This didn't mean that she slowed down working though. Lena continued to post mom vlog content as well as adult videos. She even began another podcast called Touchy Subjects, interviewing individuals such as Mia Malkova and Sky Bree, to name a few. Adam had gifted her the podcast setup for a Valentine's Day gift, seeing it as a new avenue for his fiancée. Lena realized that she was getting older and had anxiety about how long she could be in the adult space. This was a conversation she had many times with her partner, who had the idea of Lena becoming a podcaster like him. Here she could talk about emotional and traumatic experiences, topics that they didn't discuss on Plug Talk because it wasn't exactly Gooner material. Sky Bree was Lena's first guest, which made sense since Adam and Lena had decided to manage her. She came into the couple's life in 2021 when she reached out as a fan of No Jumper.
The baby's super young, so she's in like mega mom mode, feeling like insanely like not hot every second of the day, right? And then I come home and I'm like, listen, I met this girl. She's super young, but she's like really hot, and I think that we gotta with her.
After Lena approved of Sky, they crafted a viral story about the young OnlyFans model being a Target employee. This was the first instance of the couple signing on a star to manage, which they saw as a way of transitioning out of filming content themselves. While the podcast didn't make as much money as Plug Talk, Lena continued with the show, interviewing Adam as her third guest. Having Adam as an interview subject wasn't surprising, but the conversation between the recently engaged couple bordered on dysfunctional. It was the first time Lena and Adam shared real insight into their current dynamic. The first controversy involved Adam's reaction to the possibility of ending threesomes. This didn't seem to convince anyone, even Lena.
If I decided tomorrow that I didn't want to have threesomes anymore and I just wanted you to sleep with me, what would that do for our relationship?
I don't think I would care.
Really?
The second jaw-dropping moment was when they discussed Adam's previous cheating scandals. Instead of showing any type of remorse for the situation, Adam shrugged it off, coming off as heartless.
More of that.
On me, you guys.
Okay, very early on. It's been a long time.
Okay, if I told you it was really early in the relationship, but yeah, I cheated on you a lot, you'd still be fucking pissed.
If you cheated on me in the first year of the relationship, I wouldn't be that mad.
You cheated in all of your other relationships, and that's why you feel like you've done really good for me, because
I've changed
you haven't
a lot.
cheated in 4 years.
Yeah. I feel like I deserve some
credit.
Yes.
Even Lena commented on the disastrous interview, trying to smooth over some of Adam's reactions.
Yeah, and I feel like he felt like he was on the spot, and he felt like he had to play it cool and like be Adam or whatever. But when we were at home, when I was bringing it up to him, I was like, hey, like you were kind of dismissing my feelings on the podcast. And he was like, oh yeah, that was kind of up. Like I probably should have acknowledged like you a little bit more in that situation. But in his head, it's like, oh, that was so long ago, you're still bringing it up.
By now, Lena the Plug was quite used to Adam receiving blowback for things he said and had grown numb to any sort of criticism of his character. The adult content creator continued to focus her efforts on planning her wedding, realizing it was cheaper to get married abroad than in LA. So, taking her 1-year-old daughter and assistant with her, she traveled to France and Italy without Adam for almost 3 months. There she decided on a perfect location for their wedding, an Italian castle. Many people questioned how Lena was able to travel for a lot of 2022 and still put out content, but she later shared her strategy.
Like everything is an excuse for me to smoke weed because a lot of times on set, dude, I gotta bust like 3-4 a day.
Damn. 3-4.
Yeah.
We're trying to maximize our content.
This work ethic proved phenomenal for the pair as they prepared for their wedding in May of 2023. Before they could walk down the aisle, though, just 3 months before their wedding, claims about Adam exploiting underage girls resurfaced in the news again. A group called the Official Perv Busters uploaded episodes from a No Jumper podcast that has now been deleted.
So what's up with these allegations of Adam with a 16-year-old?
Nah, come on, bro. We can't do that, man.
What you mean we can't do that?
Come on,
but
bro.
wait, no. I'll be a I'll be a hypocrite if I don't address it.
But you came on my platform and spread lies like that?
Lies?
Lies.
Is it lies?
I mean, you could have done some research and figured out any.
Did you talk to her when you were 16?
For like 5 minutes when I was 21. I'm 39.
You wasn't 23?
I might have been 21, 22.
How you don't know? How you don't know if you was
Because
21?
it was 20 years ago.
Nearly 20 years later, Adam would still be haunted by this allegation. Adding gasoline to the flames, rapper Lil Pump would share his view on this point, bringing up events that happened when Adam went on tour with him in 2017.
Adam was fucking girls that was the same age as me when I was 16. Like, what's wrong with you, bro?
Immediately, people tried their best to cancel the podcaster yet again, but Adam realized that there was a way to avoid this, focusing fully on Plug Talk. It appears around this point he discovered that people have much lower standards for sex workers. So if Adam became a full-fledged adult star gaining money solely from direct payments from explicit material, it essentially made him impossible to cancel. It's also interesting to point out that around this same time, just before their upcoming nuptials, Lena began to ask Adam some tough questions about their sexual relationship. At this point, the mother had hinted at the fact that it was unfair that Adam was allowed to sleep with other women while she could only have him as a male partner. The two had, by Adam's estimates, over 250 threesomes. Lena had grown tired of trying to manage his chaotic schedule in order to shoot exclusively with Adam, and saw this as a barrier to her financial success.
I have considered how much money I could make if I worked with someone that wasn't Adam, and it would probably have like a pretty significant spike in my OnlyFans. And then it would just go back to where it was.
Despite Adam knowing this, he refused to be okay with the possibility of bringing another man into their relationship for adult content.
Now, would you guys ever have a dude be in your scenes?
No. Adam's strong reservations still didn't stop Lena from bringing the situation up, finally asking her fiancé about different ways to explore their sexual relationship.
I have a memory of maybe 6 months ago where you said something like, do you really think that we're going to go our whole lives without ever sleeping with other people? And in the context of like, I think we were talking about swinging at first.
On top of this, Lena felt pressure from her fans to be with another man as they were tired of seeing only Adam. Lena believed it would only be fair to allow her to sleep with another man since in 2022 she had let him sleep with adult star Alva J alone. This of course hadn't been planned, but Lena had fallen sick with the stomach flu and told Adam to go through with the scene without her. Reasoning that being with another man would be good for her business, and out of fairness, she summoned the courage to ask the big question.
I brought it up to Adam before the wedding, and to my surprise, he actually said yes. And then we were sort of like going through guys, and we ended up on Jason, and I wasn't even sure if he was shooting.
After filtering through several options, Lena and Adam landed on veteran adult star Jason Lubb for the cherry popping. Jason was an established name and had met Adam and Lena a year previous where they shot a viral TikTok.
Let me ask you something. Who's the hottest girl here?
Your wife.
Here? Right now?
She messaged the male talent asking if he would like to shoot content, to which he responded yes. However, this scene would have to wait because it was time for Adam and Lena to tie the knot after 7 years of being together. And in the spring of 2023, the couple were now husband and wife. Those in attendance included both of their families as well as several adult stars who definitely made the night interesting. Despite it being a very happy day for Lena and Adam, I do think Lena's dad had the best night of all, dancing with Sky Bree. After 2 weeks of traveling through Europe, the newlyweds went back to LA. Almost immediately after their honeymoon, Lena reached out to Jason to finally meet up.
We had come back from our wedding and the honeymoon and everything, and I was on Instagram, and I just saw that Jason was in LA, and I was like, can you shoot tomorrow? And he said yes. It was like there was not a lot of time to plan anything.
Despite Adam having approved the threesome, Lena still felt it was strange. Probably because it was.
I just walked away. I was like, I think I'm going to shoot with Jason tomorrow. And you were like, okay. And I walked away, went to wash the dishes or something. And then I come back and you're just like, no facial, no kissing.
On June 27th, 2023, the day of the scene, Lena was incredibly nervous. Leaving Adam to compete in an online poker game, she arrived on set. The newlywed bride did her best to get into character, but worried about the repercussions if she went through with this. A part of her still thought that Adam would end their relationship following this even though he agreed.
on the day of, I was like a nervous wreck. I was trying to put off starting the scene, and like any little, I was like, I'm thirsty. Oh, I need more lube. Like whatever, like little thing that I could think of because I felt so wrong.
At this point, Lena was doing everything to slow down the inevitable, and finally Jason had to step in and calm the adult star down. Lena started filming, but still felt conflicted.
And I'm just like, what is happening? Like I'm like in my head, like I should not be doing this, you know?
Following the event, she felt good about her performance, but then awkward about what she had just done. Instead of immediately calling Adam to tell her about the day, she texted her husband about what he wanted from Dave's Hot Chicken.
I was just like, hey, I'm hungry. I'm going to order Dave's. Do you want anything to eat? Like just completely avoiding the subject. And he was like, yeah, sure. I guess we'll talk about the scene later. Like, yeah.
Lena nervously entered her home late that night, unsure of how Adam was going to respond. The podcaster immediately asked her about her workday, but his wife didn't want to discuss the day's events. Eventually, she opened up about the situation, but that proved to be overwhelming for her husband.
I was trying to give like short one-word answers, didn't really want to talk about it, didn't know how to talk about it, and then Adam kept pressing the issue. I felt like he really wanted to know. And then I think we got to a point where I was like too honest. I was like first not sharing anything, and then I was a little too honest about how the scene was, and that it was like it felt good and everything. And Adam was kind of like, whoa.
This led to tension between them initially following the situation. Things may have turned out differently for the couple had it not been for the immediate viral response following Lena posting a TikTok. By this point, it was clear that Adam loved nothing more than attention, and the internet exploded with reactions to the event, as it became a viral hit. Following this, the obvious happened, with the internet giving their thoughts about Adam 22.
His goddess, his woman, is humiliating him, and he's loving every minute of it, and he's going to benefit off of every minute of it.
Let's go to Cup 22. Cup 22. 40 minutes.
Okay, yeah. So a lot of people want to know.
Bro, hold on,
I don't
dog.
know.
Hold on, man. Hold on, dog. Hold on, bro.
Despite the waves of hate, Adam played into the jokes. From the moment it happened up until the scene was released, Adam began posting memes on Twitter, leaning into the cuck persona. He even brought Lena onto the No Jumper podcast to discuss the scene further, consulting Jason Love about having sex with his wife. Many wondered why the multi-millionaire couple would choose to do this, but it soon became obvious why Adam didn't mind the onslaught of public ridicule.
I low-key feel like you're less mad because it's viral, and you're like into being viral.
I will say that having seen how viral it went, it now seems kind of insane that I ever would have like potentially stood in the way of you doing this.
Despite all the hype surrounding the scene, Lena was still worried about how it would be received.
In retrospect, I'm like, oh yeah, how did you not know that it was going to be that crazy?
I did not, like, I wanted to do it. We planned to do it. And then I was like, babe, my biggest fear is that I'm going to do this and no one's going to care.
All of her worst fears never came to fruition though, because once the video dropped a few months later, Lena and Adam made more money than they could have ever hoped for.
I would say that this is like the best-selling OnlyFans scene in OnlyFans history.
I like that the couple act as if they just picked Jason Love at random to do the scene, but I really doubt that these two didn't know what they were doing and how popular it would become. At the end of the media circus, Plug Talk subscriptions doubled.
You know, the financial the financial rewards have been so absurd that it's kind of like, well, we're in business together, like you gotta.
While Adam played into the idea he allowed his wife to sleep with another man solely for money and the online commentary community ate it up, I think in reality he was just pushing further and further into the sexual taboo and developed a kink for watching another man be with his wife. This is evident when Lena later spoke candidly about their evolving sexual fantasies.
Yeah, I mean, we f***ed like when I came home from the scene with Jason, and then probably like multiple days in a row, multiple times in a day. And then once I had the trailer, we were like f***ing and watching the trailer.
Even with the couple proclaiming to be stronger than ever following Jason Love, there was one thing that bothered Adam.
There was going into the scene. Did you and her have a conversation about that part?
No. That was a little bit of a surprise.
With so much media attention, everyone wanted to interview the couple. While some interviews were positive, others not so much.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I have a higher net worth than you, unless you got really lucky on Bitcoin.
Don't care. You're going to burn in hell. You have literally no morals and your wife's a whore. I said it. I don't give a fuck.
It seemed that things were working out perfectly for the two as everyone forgot about the previous assault claims, though that didn't mean the couple was drama-free. After having a great experience with Jason Love, the couple wanted to hire the adult actor in the future. This all changed, however, after Jason Love began to make comments about Adam and Lena.
Do you think that you f***ed her better than Adam did?
Well, obviously, yes.
He even went as far as to leave out important details when discussing how the scene went down, inferring that Adam had filmed it and he had to hold back from destroying Lena. This horrified the couple, and Adam made sure to publicly lambaste Jason for his disrespect.
I guess we're doing this today. Hey, Jason Love, I trusted you to pork my wife. And it seems like that clout is getting to your head. You're talking real spicy, and I ain't really feeling it.
I just have to marvel at the fact that these two turned their love life into something more akin to a WWE plotline. Though to be clear, not everything was fun and games for them. Lena stopped sharing Parker's face following the scene with Jason due to the amount of people accusing her of being a bad mom.
There was just way too many viral pictures of her on Twitter and video and reels and things like that, where the whole concept was like, look at this terrible mom, look at this terrible dad.
Despite this drama, the couple was excited to do more exploratory scenes, but this time without Jason.
But now I'm gonna find me a different for my wife.
You're not.
Yeah.
Really?
That is not to say that Mr. Love is entirely out of the picture. In July of 2024, Jason and Lena reunited in Miami, where she did a follow-up interview with him a year later, without Adam. Adam and Lena milked that Jason Love plot for as long as possible until they realized they needed to find another newsworthy situation. The next zany idea came in the form of an innovative reality TV show competition called For the Love of Lena. Those that competed included actual male adult stars and some other questionable guests.
Crip Mac, I'm here. Like you know, I'm trying to win Lena's heart over so I can bust her in asshole.
The show was beyond bizarre, involving a push-up and tug-of-war competition as well as a lap dance. It's clear in these videos that Adam had embraced being called a cuck to the full extent. During the finale, there could only be one winner, and it ended up being the up-and-coming adult star Lil D.
Lil D in the building. You see number 2 points on the world. I'm here. Come on, tried and true.
He then went on to Plug Talk, becoming the first male actor to be interviewed. Following this, Adam and Lena have not included another man in their scenes, and seem to have hit a wall as to what the next level is.
It's one thing, even me letting another guy sleep with my wife is crazy from most people's perspective. Is another level of disrespect.
For now, the couple continues to shoot for Plug Talk, which has become a staple in the adult community, even winning awards at the AVNs. But as time goes on, the pair is running into a problem. Just a few months ago, Adam explained that they had begun to struggle to find new talent to film with for Plug Talk.
You would assume that there's so many chicks out there having on camera that you would never run out. But as it turns out, in one city, that number can sometimes be kind of difficult to hit.
Now, despite Adam and Lena having a good reputation about being discreet and rarely talking poorly about the women they have worked with, there has been one incident. Back in 2023, Adam learned that Lana Rhoades had said negative things about him. This enraged the podcaster, who immediately turned to social media to call Lana out.
He told us that she was at a party. Lana Rhoades was snorting hella and pulled up on her and just fully was like just talking all this about me. And I just heard that and I was just like, you drinking piece of how dare you? Like, she's really just out here. She's a mom and she's doing and she's telling people not to get into the business because she's salty about the fact that she didn't properly monetize she did on camera.
This resulted in Lana Rhoades becoming incredibly upset and blocking the couple on social media. Lena then had to chastise her husband for publicly saying this and to remind him that they would have to see this woman in the future, and he had made things awkward.
And so I just basically was saying shit that I shouldn't have said, so I ended up deleting it. My apology is less so to Lana because, you know, essentially nearly everything I said there was
accurate. I'm not really apologizing to her so much as my girl, because I kind of really went outside the boundaries of things that we consider acceptable in our relationship.
Despite Adam's apology, the couple never had a relationship with Lena again, unfortunately eliminating her as a candidate to perform on Plug Talk. Although they have shot scenes with the adult actress previously, it seems it's out of the question for the near future, despite Miss Rhodes continuing to post on OnlyFans with other women. Even if the couple is running out of viable guests, I am sure that they will find a new and creative way to monetize in the future. Lena is now 34 and Adam 41, yet the couple continues to enjoy their job in the adult space and don't seem to have plans of slowing down. Lena once claimed that she would stop once her daughter gets to middle school, but recently she's decided to continue on as long as her fans support her. Another way Adam attempted to make quick money was through a cryptocurrency pump and dump called Cuckcoin. Like so many others, Adam promoted the coin, and then after it reached a peak value, insiders pulled out and it dropped practically to zero, with suckers losing millions. Instantly, people began to criticize Adam for this business venture, most notably CoffeeZilla. CoffeeZilla was shocked to discover how little Adam cared about taking accountability and seemed to just brush off scamming people. Though personally, I think if you put your money into something called Cuckcoin, you deserve to be scammed. Recently, the podcaster discussed the crypto scam on No Jumper, claiming he was misled.
I was scammed. Someone told me that they had a bag for me to promote a crypto token. I take the payment, I look at the text that they want me to post, and I think that it was a little bit outside of the realm of what I should have posted. I think I should have made it more clear that this was merely a project that in my heart of hearts, as a non-crypto guy, I was excited about.
Following this, Adam didn't really seem to get any more blowback as the internet just simply moved on, proving that he was past the point of being cancelled. Most recently, people have taken a clip of Adam saying he was downsizing No Jumper and used it as clickbait to claim he's going broke. But anyone who bothered to listen to his explanation of the situation knows that this isn't the case. Plug Talk is a separate, extremely profitable venture, and No Jumper was expanded too quickly, but once brought back down to a small operation of just Adam talking to rappers, it will be fine. From what I can tell, they're still extremely wealthy. And that pretty much brings us to current day, with commentary channels continuously giving the couple ample coverage for their stunts, with the internet eating it up, believing that the next blunder will get them taken down or divorced. But the truth is, I don't see that happening. Most of the incidents people freak out over were controlled publicity stunts to garner attention. From the moment they received millions of views releasing videos talking about a threesome they had with their friend, they realized that they could capitalize on sexual escapades that they were probably going to do regardless. People call Adam a cuck in recent times for the Jason Love stunt as a jab, when in reality, Lena had already done things with another man in front of him years prior for free. So the truth is, he not only doesn't care if you call him a cuck, but he finds it funny and monetizes it. After losing the record deal, it only strengthened Lena and Adam's bond, as they now work outside of polite society, raising a child in this environment the best way they can. Are Adam and Lena dysfunctional? Yes, but what most people forget is they're at least dysfunctional together.